And up for the Knob of the Year award is Tory party leader Kemi Badenoch.
The question today is what has been on the lips of all Labour MPs, including, I believe, the Health Secretary yesterday. The Prime Minister knowingly appointed a convicted fraudster to be his Transport Secretary. What was he thinking?
Yes, Kemi is a walking disaster zone. Asking this question at PMQs quickly brought to mind that she admitted hacking Harriet Harman's website, an offence that, had she been prosecuted for, could have carried up to 5 years in prison.
What's the naughtiest thing you've ever done?
The naughtiest thing? About 10 years ago, I hacked into, oh my God, hacked into a Labour MP's website. And I changed all the stuff in there to say nice things about Tories. That's
nice.
Funny, yeah, but I won't name who.
Would you ever want to be Prime Minister?
No.
But it was during the Conservative leader contest that she made a series of stunning faux pas, and yet amazingly she had the front to say this.
So I never have gaffes or, apologising for something that I said, that's not what I meant. I never have to clarify because I think very carefully about what I say.
I think very carefully about what I say.
It's interesting, you make a virtue of your plain speaking and so on, but you evidently mean when you say the number of recent immigrants who hate Israel, you evidently mean Muslim immigrants. Why didn't you just say that?
Because it's not all Muslim immigrants. And this is what I don't do. I'm very careful when I speak.
But this is the woman who threatened to take on Doctor Who.
Until we wake up and Kemi Badenoch doesn't exist anymore, I don't wish ill of her, I just wish her to shut up.
No, I will not shut up. You need someone like me who's not afraid of Doctor Who or whoever.
And then she believed she'd become working class by working at McDonald's.
It was the first time that I interacted properly with people who didn't come from the sort of background that I came from. I grew up in a middle-class family, but I became working class when I was 16 working in McDonald's.
I mean, how many shifts in McDonald's do you have to do before you cease to be middle class and actually become working class?
I know who I am. And I was working class at that time, but I fought my way back up.
Said we needed to check all migrants entering the UK on whether or not they're pro-Israel.
This is about immigration, and what you talk about is not the numbers, but the nature of immigration and immigrants. And you say, I am struck, for example, by the number of recent immigrants to the UK who hate Israel.
But perhaps it was this moment which exposed Badenoch's true beliefs when she used neoliberal rhetoric, saying that the state should cut back on benefits, implying it was up to the individual to flourish or basically die, by blaming the government's intervention and finally suggesting maternity pay has got out of control.
People aren't happy at the moment with what government does. Asking the government to do more is not the answer. This is one of the principles that I'm fighting this leadership contest on. Government needs to focus on the few things that it does well, defence, domestic security and so on, and leave all of this stuff to individuals.
But what about things like maternity pay? I mean, we have one of the lowest rates in the OECD of maternity pay in this country. Changing that would probably help people make better decisions around family. Do you think we've got the right level of maternity pay at the moment?
So maternity pay varies depending on who you work for, but it is a function, where it's statutory maternity pay, it is a function of tax. Tax comes from people who are working. We're taking from one group of people and giving to another. This, in my view, is excessive. Businesses are closing. Businesses are not starting in the UK because they say that the burden of regulation is too high.
So maternity pay is excessive?
I think it's gone too far the other way in terms of general business regulation. We need to allow businesses, especially small businesses, to make more of their own decisions. The exact amount of maternity pay, in my view, is neither here nor there. We need to make sure that we are creating an environment where people can work and people can have more freedom to make their individual decisions.
Well, it's here nor there for people who can't afford to have a baby, isn't it?
We need to have more personal responsibility. There was a time when there wasn't any maternity pay and people were having more babies. We need to make sure.
Well, that's because women often had to not work. They had to stay at home. So is that the solution?
You're putting words in my mouth.
Click here for Is Laura Koonsberg your knob of the year?